Hi, this is GMac for the Razor Company, and welcome to another shave. Today's shave is going to be a special one, which I'm going to dedicate to the artisan responsible for the razor itself. So let's get straight down to the shave. I'll first introduce you to the shaving gear that I'm using, and then finally get to the star of the show. First up, let me start off with something different. The brush for today. The brush for today is going to be the Yaqi Ever Hopeful, and you can see that right behind it says Yaqi Brush Professional. There's a reason why I chose this brush. I'm a very big fan of the Ever-Ready brushes. When Gillette was making, tons of razors, Merkur got into the business itself. Gibbs, the Kirby, company, Ever-Ready. While they had, their own collaboration, they had their own, I'd say brothers and sisters in the industry like Gem and Star. They really, besides making razors, concentrated on brushes, and they had amazing brushes. Do love those designs. You can buy some of them and then, refit or, put a new knot into it after pulling out the old knot. But it is this that I really love. The fact that you can get something that looks exactly like it. I do love this green. It's very old school. It's got a bit of a marble effect on it. And then, that traditional Ever-Ready kind of, top. A lot of brush makers will do adopt this kind of a shape, but this one looks really classic to me. Very nice fibers on top. Very soft. It's a beautiful knot. And 24 mm. It's a 24 mm knot. So let's get straight down to the soap itself. The soap for today is also going to be a Yaqi product, which I've found recently, made by Master Soap Creation South Africa. This is the DLC Yaqi Dragon. And it's an interesting soap because when I got it, now it's a wonderful fragrance. It's a dupe or a homage to, Tom Ford, Fougère d'Argent, or that's I'm hoping that that's the right pronunciation. But it's supposed to be lavender and ginger at the top with mandarin, and the middle is supposed to be akigala, wood, and labdanum. I hope I got those names right. But the base is actually coumarin. Now the odd part is that I do get a little bit of that woodsy note, but the lavender is very strong. It's like a nice blend of lavender and wood with that hint of ginger coming in there. It's a kind of a masculine cologne kind of fragrance, very fresh, the kind that you would normally have inside a shower gel. So it's very similar to that, and I do love this fragrance. It's absolutely stunning. I'm a big fan of anything that Fernando of Master Soap Creations makes, and the very fact that I got to know of him through Yaqi soaps, it was quite a deal for me. So let's go with this soap today. Absolutely fantastic product. It's a 6 ounce pour, so there's a lot inside it. Ingredients for the soap, of course, are stearic acid, tallow, coconut, avocado, castor, and palm oil. There's glycerin, shea butter, bentonite clay, thusa silk, and fragrance oil. So those are the standout ingredients. Let's get down to the bowl. For the bowl, I'm going to be using my Hendrix Classics and Company lather bowl. And interestingly, let's get straight down to the razor. Of course, let me not forget the aftershave for today. That's going to be Lucido aftershave lotion. That's Japanese. It's a really nice lotion. You can pick it up at a lot of shops if you're in Japan, or even around the world at some of the supermarkets. The blade for today will be a Voshkod, one of my favorite blades. I do like it when I don't want something that's too sharp, but I want something that's smooth and kind of forgiving. Let's get straight down to the razor and the star of the show, and here it is. So that's the Alpha Outlaw. This is not the Outlaw Evolution, it's the Alpha Outlaw. Was a joint venture once upon a time between Brian of Executive Shaving and Steve Tinter. Steve, of course, resides in Hong Kong and has, he had access to a machinist place, and he, of course, did groom, them as to how to get things done. So he does a lot of his stuff. A lot of his stuff is everything is machined in Hong Kong. And the reason why I chose this razor is a lot of people, when the Alpha Outlaw came out, and this is not the only Alpha razor that I have. I do have the Claymore Evolution. I don't have the Spirit, which is a 10 on 10 for me in terms of razor design and how beautiful it is and how it works. Have shaved with it, don't own it. I do have the Alpha Evolution as well. But this is the razor that made me fall in love with Alpha shaving, simply because of its efficiency, simply because of that grippy, beautiful Viper handle that it's got. And many, spoke about this razor in kind of a neutral, kind of a negative, and kind of a positive manner. Let's get down to that in just a little bit. First up, a little bit on the razor. So the razor weighs approximately about 105 to 110 or 12 grams, if I'm not mistaken. The handle's 95 millimeters. It's the Viper 95. Very, very grippy, as you can see. Beautiful leather channels there on the back. It's got the logo on the underside of the base plate as well as on the base of the handle. The Alpha logo. As you can see, there's a nice scalloped, base plate there. Kind of scalloped, actually. It's more ridged, if you ask me. As you can see the blade reveal. It's perfect on both sides, and the blade is really, I'm going to try and give it you a little closer. The blade is really clamped. If you can just have a look at this, it's very clamped, kind of, yeah, like almost like a curved roof, and it's very tight. Now the beauty of this razor is 13 millimeters for the handle. The handle itself is 74 grams. Many, once upon a time, said that, the Alpha razor or the Outlaw did not, have good blade alignment. And then Steve, of course, released the Alpha Evolution, which had perfect blade alignment, great clamping, very tight tolerances, 0.70 blade gap as compared to the 0.72. But with changing a few things, it also brought down the efficiency a little bit, made it absolutely smooth. The Evolution is a great razor, but this is my favorite razor. It's got a perfect balance of smoothness and efficiency, and I never had a problem with the alignment at all. The easiest thing to do is, you just unscrew the top of the handle, put the top cap upside down on your palm, load the blade, put the base plate on, clamp the base plate with your finger, and then screw on the handle. I've already done it, but I'll try and do it for you at the end if possible. But that's the right way to load the Alpha razor, and it's very easy. Perfect blade alignment. I have no issues with it. So it's a beautiful razor. And Steve Tinter, my friend, if you're watching this, big shout out to you. Thank you for all the hard work and for your craft and what you do for a shaver. So years looking at you, mate. And I do hope that you churn out a lot more products like this. Let's get straight down to the shave itself, and trying to get that brush into the bowl to get started with a little bit of that lather. I'm always being a little, cautious with water nowadays, because I try not to hydrate my soaps too much. Having said that, I always land up doing it. Yaqi soaps tend to be very, very well thirsty. They'll take a lot of water. The more you feed, the lather with water, the better it actually works. So let's get straight down to the first pass itself, and let's see how this goes. I do hope, of course, that you've been enjoying your shaves in whichever part of the world you are in. Let's not forget that the Alpha Outlaw is available at the Razor Company. You can, also pick up wonderful lather bowls that they've been churning out. Absolutely colorful, delightful bowls, razor stands, as well as brush soaking mugs. Yeah. So brush soakers, if you want to call them that. So let's get down to the first pass. Oh, the soap is absolutely wonderful. It's a nice, it's kind of a cologne-y, is there a word such as that? A lot of us, shavers tend to use it, but it's a cologne-like fragrance, but very fresh. And, there are other soaps. There is the Velvet Rose by Yaqi that I love very much, but this is different from that. And then you have the Master Soap Creation soaps that, are available on the Razor Company. And those also are absolutely fantastic. And that's what I love about MSC. They have these great collaborations going on, worldwide with different vendors and different online retailers and sellers, and it just makes it so interesting because he does craft a different kind of soap. The base tends to be a little bit different. I mean, this base is rich in tallow. Oh, this brush is just nice. It's got such a nice, comfortable grip. Always like to check display. It's got a decent splay, I would say. It's not too soft, neither is it too, stiff. Good amount of backbone on it. Just going to do a slight clean up. Always get soap all over myself. Love love the fact that over a period of time there are so many new artisans coming out with amazing products, with amazing designs, and Steve is someone that comes across as being very proud or snappy if you question him about his products, but actually he isn't. He's a really, really nice bloke, and he's just proud of his craft, and if I was in his place I would be as well. I mean, to be fair to him, look at that thing. It's an absolute thing of beauty, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. So let's get started with the first pass. I remember having a conversation with Steve about, which razor I should get at one point of time. And I said that I wanted something that was, I was asking him about, the Alpha Evolution Titanium, absolutely stunning razor. And I couldn't get it at that point of time. Sometimes you've got priorities you just got to, stick with. But the interesting bit is when I asked him, and he said, get the titanium. It's smooth as butter. And I just want to give this back to Steve and say, this one, it's almost smooth as butter, but it's as efficient as a straight. It's just fantastic. I just love this razor. And I do hope, and I'm saying this really aloud, but I know that Steve probably thinks of, coming out with the spirit in in a little more aggressive base plates. I do hope he does that with the Evolution as well, and that very soon we have the Alpha Outlaw evolved. Yeah, probably a 0.90 or a 0.99 blade gap, Steve, if you're listening. And what's the really amazing thing about TRC with this is they have practically the whole catalog. They have all the Outlaws in there. And if you're like me and this is your favorite Alpha shaving razor, go to the razor company before it sells out. They've got them. And this has perfect blade, alignment and clamping. Believe me, I love it. I mean, there's still a lot of, Outlaws available. The Outlaw Titanium is still available with the razor company. It does sell out, and but they're always going to get them back again. It's not like it's going to be gone for good. And that's one of the good things with Alpha shaving. They do tend to replenish stock, especially for their vendors and for their customers. I do believe that there was a razor called the Futura. If you've had a chance to use it, I did. Very mild, extremely smooth. And that's what I mean by this razor. It just cleans up so beautifully. If you hadn't read about it, but when the Futura was released and it had a fluted handle, and we as shavers are always very guilty of making comparisons, drawing comparisons, and I think the Futura was just held back. It was such a lovely razor, but held back due to the fact that people didn't receive it too well. And you know what's the funny part? Without even using it, you can't judge, you can't rate a product without even using it. I mean, how do you do that? It's just beyond me. So if you want to get yourself any of the Alpha shaving products, as I said, at least the Outlaws, and the Outlaw Evolution, the Outlaw and the many Outlaw Evolution, they are available at the razor company. I'm not going to do a rinse. I'm just going to go straight over with my second lather. Started doing that off late just to maintain the slickness. I don't call it unhygienic. It's not. It's my face, my brush, my lather. Still a good bit of it left in there. Talking of the bowl, and this is another great product, isn't it? Pete Hendrix of Hendrix Classics and Company. Wonderful man, wonderful shaving products, stunning soaps, and just like Master Soap Creations, just like Sterling, just like the Yaqi soaps, very generous with the pour. Sometimes in a Hendrix Classics and Company soap, or even in a Sterling soap, you'll get more a bang for your buck because they don't compromise on putting in a bit extra. And Pete had this wonderful bowl made in stainless steel, which is so comfortable to hold. It's a bit different from the Captain's Choice bowl. That itself is another fantastic bowl. But in the area where I live, it gets things patina very fast. They tarnish very fast because of the humidity. But if you actually go with stainless steel, it's kind of safer most times. So here we go. Let's go down to the second pass. And if you want to get Hendrix Classics and Company soaps, Etsy and Co, if you call them that, you can actually get them at the razor company as well, including the this beautiful pure extract of the fragrances, aftershaves as well. So let's get down to the second pass. This razor does sing, if you hadn't noticed. It doesn't sing like an opera singer. It doesn't sing like one of the smooth tenors. It sings a bit like a rock singer. And when you're holding it in your hand, I always think that I'll end up holding the razor close to where, the neck is just below that for the balance. Look at this. It's right here at this spot. And it just gives you better control. At least for me. I wasn't joking earlier when I said something about this razor. Although the blade gap may be just 0.70, the evolution is 0.72 and the evolution is 0.70. Never go by blade gaps. Go by razor design, really. That makes all the difference. So this is an absolutely stunning razor. I think I'm going to go across the grain for today. Just for a change things up a little bit. That's all gone. Wow. I had a 2 days growth, but to be honest, I have used this razor for a 5 days growth. Still gone with 2 passes, just 1 or 2 touch-ups. No pressure with this razor. There's one thing Alpha Shaving Works does do is they concentrate on smoothness, so it's there. So I've got to say this, to fellow shavers and, especially to those that like shaving, don't give the artisans a hard time, They do their level best to churn out products for us that are great. If you have a complaint, you have a problem, approach them directly. I've approached, Steve Tinter, or for that matter, even Shane of Blackland, when I never owned one of their razors, and now I do. They were always receptive. They were always helpful. They will never ever force you to buy a razor of theirs, but they'll put you in the right direction. And that's saying, a lot for me when it comes to trusting an artisan. That's a stunning shave. Just a little bit here. Normally don't have to do, any cleanups as such. BBS. Absolutely love that. And that's what I was saying to a friend the other day. I do love the Blacklands Blackbird very, very much. I do have one. I do love my other razors as well. But this is another razor that is a bit deceptive in the sense that when you're actually whipping it around your face, it just feels like it's very, very easy, and it's so smooth that nothing's going to happen. Put a bit of pressure and it'll change everything. So the beauty of the Outlaw is that it basically lets you, the razor does all the work for you, and I think that's fascinating. So that was a very, very good shave. Just before I get to the aftershave, let me recap the gear for you first. I forget to do that sometimes. So the soap for today was the DLC Yaqi Dragon, absolutely lovely homage to Tom Ford's Fougère d'Argent, and very, very nice fragrance. It's kind of a fragrance that you would use when you just got out of university, getting into, you know, your first job, and then it was so good that you stayed with it through the years. The Voshkod, absolutely love this blade. Smooth, forgiving, always easy. I'm not an Astro fan, though a lot of shavers are, but you know, I prefer the Voshkods. I used the Hendrix bowl, and for my brush today, it was the Ever Hopeful, which is actually kind of a salute or a tribute to, you know, the iconic Eveready brushes. And most importantly, of course, the one thing that I have to the star of the show today, and I'm going to recommend this if you really like it as much as I do. If you want an efficient shaver that is very smooth, but I'm talking really efficient, go and get yourself the Alpha Outlaw. It's available at the Razor Company before it goes out of stock. Steve doesn't keep them anymore because Steve only has the Alpha Outlaw Evolution, you know, with him on the Alpha Shaving website. But you can still probably get one or two of these with the Razor Company. They're still available unless Steve decides to pull them out again, and I'm sure he just might. He just might, with a little bit of more aggression there. So there it is, the Alpha Outlaw. I absolutely love this razor. If you had any you know, worries or doubts about it, perfect blade alignment, perfect shave, the results, that's the proof, isn't it? If you want something that is probably a little less aggressive, I would say go for the Evolution. That's a great razor for beginners and, you know, professionals or experienced shavers. I would think the Outlaw is as well. If the Outlaw was my first razor, I probably wouldn't have gone on to get any other razors. I mean, it's that good. For the aftershave, as I said, Lucido Aftershave Lotion of Japan. Love this. Picked it up the first time when I was on a work trip more than, you know, 12 or 13 years ago in Japan. Oh, that burn. It's not supposed to, actually. This is one aftershave that doesn't burn, and I know why. It's because that razor got so close. Oh. That razor got so close. Oh, wow. So that's it for today's shave. I do hope that you enjoyed, you know, keeping me company for it. And if you have any queries, of course, do shoot them across and I will try and answer them. But yeah, the Alpha Outlaw and the Outlaw Evolution and the Outlaw Evolution Titanium, all available at the Razor Company. Master Soap Creations, you can get those at the Razor Company. But if you want to pick up any of the Yaqi products, you know, just look for them online. The Ever Hopeful brush, or more importantly, the Dragon soap. That's all from me, GMac, for today. It's time for me to shut shop and ship out of here. But I'll catch you again real soon with another shaving video. Till then, you take care of yourself, stay well, and happy shaves.